30-minute reviews, Beware of Spoilers, and Exploring Hyperspace Lanes are all available ad-free. But if you want to support the show, you can go to bewareofspoilers.com and click the support button that's available on the Spotify website. Thank you. Good morning, and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. It's a nice day today. Reasonably nice day, and what we're here to talk about today is the most recent two episodes of The Bad Batch, which I think puts us in a weird position. Us being the viewing, public in this case. So, this episode is about... let's talk about what the issue is. My issue is Rex's involvement. Rex being from Clone Wars and from... what was the other one? He was also in Rebels. That was the other show. So, if he's this heavily involved in this information to find out about Tantus and to find out about the Imperial cloning program and, all that kind of stuff, why is this something that no one seems to know about later on? It feels like something that would be important information that, Ahsoka would want to know about. Oh, hey, by the way, the Emperor, you know how they got rid of Kamino? Well, the Emperor is still trying to do his shit. He's still up to something. It's not good. And it's you would think he'd be alright, well, they're working on something called M-Count. What could that be? M-Count? Midichlorian count? Alright, cool. Ahsoka would know what that is. And now we're getting into this issue a little bit. This issue of, very clearly, they're trying to build towards something, but at the same time, they're not really taking into consideration the wider universal implications. Because I don't believe for a second that Rex wouldn't have relayed this information. So does that mean that, we know we're getting Asajj Ventress? Does that mean we're also getting Ahsoka in this season? Well, no, the timeline doesn't line up, because Ahsoka would still be in hiding until either the book or the episode of Tales of the Jedi, which is, I think, later down the line. So it's kind of an interesting place for them to be put in. Where does this fall in? And I think the fact that they're not being, it's just a weird thing. It's something that bothers me, because it's well, if you're going to do this thing, and you're going to make this claim that everything is connected, and it's all one big interconnected universe, and everything is equally canon, their words, not mine, you gotta make an attempt to make sure the stories line up. Otherwise, I'm gonna sit here well, why? Why are we involving Rex besides, the criticism of everything Filoni has his hands on, the Glup Shido effect? That is, that's a problem. It's a problem if I don't know, if him being there raises more issues than it answers, then what's the point of any of it? Why are we bothering? Because at that point, what's the issue? What's the point in all this? And I think that's a valid question. I think that is a very valid question. And I don't think there's a good answer for it. I don't. Because I think there is no solution here that is satisfying. Unless it is the Bad Batch all dies, and then it's okay, well, all the information they had died with them. I don't think that's a good, satisfying ending for this at all. It's just, there is no good way to handle this at this point, and this is a corner this is an unforced error. You don't have to put yourself in this situation, at this juncture of the story. You have chosen to do this. And I get why. It's just you want to set up stuff for the wider Star Wars universe. I get it. And you know what? That may be a worthwhile endeavor. But why is this something that isn't being addressed? until much later on. Okay, so they're not going to address it until, you know, they're not going to address it until the what's it called, the Heir to the Empire movie, maybe. But what's the point in that? Like, because at that point I would assume Rex is probably dead because the clones have a very short lifespan. Like, it's just kind of weird. Like, and to think, like, this show was good, not because of its ties to the wider universe. This show was good because it like, bringing in Rex didn't feel like it added anything. Bringing in the Republic Commandos didn't feel like it did anything. Like, it was a cool moment, don't get me wrong. I liked seeing them in the show. Because it's like, oh, fuck yeah, those are the guys from the video game. But, like, cool, I guess. And then, like, if Asajj Ventress, and we know Asajj Ventress is coming back, how does that work? And to what degree is this Night Sister magic that we gotta deal with later on in the season? That was a thought I had today, where it's like, God, like, not today, last time as I was watching, I was like, God damn, that would have been such a cool reveal if no one knew it was coming. It's like the Daredevil thing in She-Hulk, where it's like, you know, revealing that Daredevil was going to be in She-Hulk was the worst thing they could have done for She-Hulk, because the people are tuning in looking for Daredevil every week, and it's like, oh, he's not here, oh, he's not here, oh, he's not here, oh, he's not here. And the people that are tuning in and wouldn't have watched the show for any reason besides Daredevil are just going to be upset and annoyed the entire time. It's an unforced error. And I don't blame the show. That's the marketing side of things, doing stupid decisions. But it's a weird choice, in my opinion. Because it's like, at the end of the day, like, this doesn't really, like, all right, they're still going to try to get the Tantus. We're still kind of in the same place we were before. Like, good for them. But they need to do, you know, they need to start moving this along, because we're getting close to the end of the season now. Like, I think we got a while left. I think we got, like, entirety of this month, entirety of next month, and I think it's like the second week in May this finally ends. But they need to get there, like, they don't need to get it together right now, but it's just a weird choice, if you ask me. Because, again, unforced error. There's nothing in the show that requires you to bring in Rex. And if you're going to bring in Rex, that's fine. But bringing him this far into the loop just raises more questions than it answers. And I think in a way, it forces their hand a little bit. To where, like, okay, so, like, because let's back up a little bit. We talked about this before. Tantus, I think, and like, Mount Tantus on Wayland is going to play a big role in, you know, the Heir to the Empire movie. And that could just be me projecting, because the Heir to the Empire books have a huge role for Mount Tantus and Wayland. Like, that could just be what that is. I could be wrong. I think that it's going to end up playing a huge role in that. That said, if Rex knows now, and the assumption that I've been operating under is they go to Wayland, there is a victory on Wayland where they defeat Thrawn, and they think they've defeated what's left of the Empire, and then they go to, you know, they're like, yay, we did it, and then they, you know, they go about their business. The thing with that is very easily, you know, so, because then we have later on, we have Exegol, but Luke is the only one investigating Exegol. Luke is compartmentalizing that, and it's not a huge deal to anyone but Luke. So, okay, so all of that kind of lines up in a weird way. So next what we have is, okay, so now Rex knows. So, Rex is going to tell Ahsoka this. They're not going to make this priority one. Like, this is not, like, you would think something like this would be like, okay, so the Emperor is working on clones that can use the Force. We may want to get on this, like, as a higher priority, because if they can do that, there's a problem. And let's not also forget, there's also the armor that has been made, and we know this exists from Thrawn alliances. There's an armor that can reflect lightsabers. That's not Beskar. It's another kind, and they were mass producing it on Batuu. God, I hope Batuu doesn't play into this, because that would make me want to throw something through a wall. The minute we see Batuu will appear in whatever movie, I'm gonna be like, that's annoying. I mean, look, it's one of those weird things where it's like, Star Wars has always been a very expensive toy commercial. So it becoming a vacation destination commercial too would not be out of character for the franchise. But I hope it doesn't come to that. But look, if Rex knows, he would tell this to Ahsoka. I feel like this would have become like, okay, we need to get our shit together and figure this out right. And like, this is priority one. Like, I know the Rebel Alliance doesn't exist at this point, but even like the knowledge that there is a cloning facility that the Emperor has control of that is working on cloning people while preserving their midichlorian count should completely alter what they're doing in this war. Everything about this war should change with that knowledge. Because knowing the Emperor has that, it's the kind of thing where it's like, well, obviously he's going to use it for himself. And look, we the audience know that because we've seen all 9 movies. We the audience also know that because we were privy to the conversation between Anakin and Palpatine, where we find out his obsession with beating death. So to us, that's not something that should be surprising. To us, that's not something that we should be like, oh shit, like he's gonna use it on himself. But you would think to an extent, it's like, maybe we should look into this a little bit more. Like, because if he can clone, like, and he's the most powerful Sith, what's to stop him from cloning him? Like, there are just so many things that are up in the air about this, that it's like, why the fuck do they, like, this is something that should have been priority 1 during the main Galactic Civil War. But it's not. And that's my big issue, is that Rex's knowledge here is going to make it where it's like, unless they get here and the Bad Batch do manage to get to Tantus and destroy it, that's the only thing, is that you're kind of forcing your hand now. Because we know what happens, so considering there's no urgency for anyone like, oh hey, by the way, there's a cloning facility we should really prioritize taking care of, because that doesn't exist in the original trilogy, it means that they kind of have to handle it here. It's such a weird situation to have put yourself into. I'm not entirely sure why you would do that. Because there's a blueprint for the Heir of the Empire movie to have been a hit, and you've kind of thrown that away now. Like, I still would like to see a live-action return of Mace Windu, and I do still think there's a non-zero chance that we get Mace Windu or Mace Windu or however they want to pronounce Mace with 2 A's in the Heir of the Empire movie. I think that there's a solid chance that he ends up as, the Sabaoth, role. Like that's gonna be kind of where he falls on this. And I think that could be interesting. But I don't think with this development today, or yesterday really, with Rex's involvement now and knowing all that he does now about this cloning facility, I'm kind of feeling like they got to destroy Tantus by the end of the season. Which is a shame. Which is a damn shame. But we'll wrap up there for today. Our next episode will be tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow we're definitely going to do Love Lies Bleeding in the evening. We may do The Girls on the Bus tomorrow morning. It might be moved to, Saturday. I gotta look at my calendar. But tomorrow, over on the Backlog Files, I'll be previewing Princess Peach Showtime. I'm going to record that tonight. And then we'll be talking about, what's it called? We have a lot of games this month. This weekend we're also going to record Exploring Hyperspace Lanes. We missed this week, but we'll be back to it. And next week on Exploring, on the Backlog Files, we'll be talking about Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire as we start Gen 3. So, until our next episode, you can find all of this information on mwpnews.com. Have a great rest of your week.